Hey everybody, it's Jasmine, and today I'm bringing you guys part 2 to my makeup palette collection video. Now, a few weeks ago I filmed a video where I showcased all of my palettes under $20, and today, you guessed it, we're going to be talking about palettes that are over $20. Now, before I get into the video, I have a very exciting announcement because today I'm going to be introducing my second collaboration ever, and I am just so stoked. I worked so hard just trying to design these products that I'm going to talk about today, and I collaborated with my good friend Carrie. If you guys don't know who Carrie is, I feel like some of you guys, some bells are ringing, like I've heard that name before. Now, Carrie is my great friend. She's also a crazy entrepreneur, and she's just so motivated and so driven, and I actually collaborated with her in 2018 to introduce you guys to my collaboration eyeshadows. Ma'am, thank you so much, and peace out. Now, she reached out to me because she opened up her sticker company, and I've been buying from her and I've been designing, just things for my personal self and for my friends, but she just came up to me one day and was like, hey, do you want to have your own stickers for your channel? And I said, heck yeah! So we just decided to sit down and design some stickers. I'm just so excited about it. You guys have no idea how hard this was just to pinpoint some stickers for you guys, and I'm just super excited to just talk all about the designs and just show you guys what they're all about. So here are the full-size stickers right here in my hand. Now, we have a total of 9 stickers for this, and for the whole shebang it's going to be $14.99, and if you guys want to get these ones individually, they're going to be $1.99 each. Now, we also decided to give you guys something, just a little bit more fun size, so we decided to give you guys like a phone sticker pack. So these are just going to be like super mini. There's 4 in a pack here, and it's going to retail you for $1.99 for this little pack. These stickers come in 2 options, so you can get it regular where it's just the printed sticker, or you can get them water resistant. Now, if you just decided, okay, I want the whole shebang and then water resistant is going to be an additional $1.99 to an entire order. So no matter how many stickers you get, the water resistant is always going to be a $1.99 add-on. With the prices out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about the designs. Oh my god, my heart is racing! So the first one that I want to talk about is my username. Now, I handwritten this, and this is my handwriting. I don't think I have like the best penmanship, but I just thought, you know what, this is kind of like a personal touch to my username. It kind of just embodies me, really. Now, if you guys recall me talking about my eyeshadow collaboration, we decided to make it into a little palette here. Now, all of my eyeshadows are individual, but we just thought, some type of palette would kind of resemble my love for makeup and my first baby. We've reached our 5-year milestone on YouTube, and since the very beginning, I've said peace out Girl Scout in every single video. There was a time where I stopped saying it, and then y'all were on me and were like, why? Why aren't you saying it? So I just decided to make a sticker, and this is just a good reminder to me to just stay true to myself, because it's been something that I've said since the very beginning. My iconic brown smoky eye. I'm wearing a brown smoky eye today. Like, there's just no escaping it. Now, this sticker was actually really hard for me and Carrie because there was just so many things where I was just like, oh, Carrie, let's add this, let's take away this, let's add this. And it was like a sticker that we just kept going back and forth on. And we finally settled on this, and it's me with my eyes closed. And I think Carrie did an amazing job with putting my visuals into something solid. So I'm just really excited about this one. Carrie did an amazing job designing this herself. She free-handed it, which I was like, oh my god, thank you so much. This is another sticker that took forever to design. So we decided that we wanted just a kind of portrait of myself, and it kind of wanted it to be like not quite a silhouette, but more of like an outline of myself. And I also wanted to hold a bouquet of jasmine flowers. If you're not ordering jasmine milk tea, I don't know, I really don't know what to tell you, because it's a classic. It's the best classic drink, and I'm biased. We took that same bouquet of jasmine flowers and we decided to give its own spotlight. I just think that this is a perfect design because you can really put this anywhere. I feel like floral is just an easy, effortless design. It's simple, it's just an outline, and it'll go with anything. I don't know if I've expressed this or not, but I love the fact that my last name is Yin. I feel like it's a really cool last name, and I just thought, you know what, we're gonna do a yin yang, and I love pastel colors in general, so we decided to do a pastel watercolor moment on the yin side. And finally, our last design is a Princess Jasmine crown. Now, my mom actually named me after the princess because she loved Disney. And on the bottom of the crown, it says, "I'm not a princess, I'm a queen." And it is just really a quote to remind you guys that you are worth so much. And you know, I feel like when we think of queens, we just think of somebody with high regard, and I just feel like sometimes we need that self-motivation and just self-reminder that, you know what, I am slaying it today. Now let's go ahead and talk about what's gonna be in the phone sticker pack. Now I realized I accidentally said 4. 4 has just been a number that's been in my mind recently, but there's actually 5. So this whole entire pack is gonna retail you for $1.99, which I think is an absolute steal. Now we're just gonna give you a mini Peace Out Girl Scout, a little jasmine milk tea, a yin yang, a picture of me, and my username. I just feel like this is kind of cute if you have a clear phone case and you kind of just want to put this in there just to showcase it, or if you really like to design something, then you could just peel the backing off and then just put it on the outside of the case. Carly does ship worldwide, so if you guys are interested anywhere where you are and you guys want to just collect some stickers, then you have that option as well. I will have a direct link in the description box below, and I hope you guys all enjoy some of these stickers. I'm really excited about it, and I just can't wait to see you guys design your little laptops, your phones, your mirrors, anything. I'm just super excited about it. So with that all being said, let's go ahead and talk about some palettes. Just like part 1, we are going to go in chronological order by the brand names. So the first one that I want to talk about is Ace Beaute. Now this is actually a palette that I got in a BoxyCharm and I haven't used it yet. So I thought that this would be a perfect time to whip it out, talk a little bit about it, why I haven't used it, etc, etc. So this palette is a very bright, I want to say this is more like a fall toned palette. There's a lot of grungy tones, but then also warm tones in here as well. I feel like the main reason why I'm not gravitated towards it is because I feel like I'm just not that inspired. I feel like there's not a lot of variety as far as like grungy tones. I feel like these 3 shades were just tossed in there just to mix things up a little bit. But I just feel like all in all, when I look at this palette, I'm just not 100% inspired. So I might film a tutorial, I might not, I might give it away, who knows. But if you have this palette, let me know if you like it. I haven't even swatched it. So just let me know how you guys feel about Ace Beaute in general, because I'm kind of curious about it. If you are loving my eye look today, I have a tutorial on it on my Instagram, and I am using exclusively the Anastasia and Jackie Aina palette. Now this is actually one of my favorite Anastasia eyeshadow palettes. I feel like for the past few years, I haven't really been inspired by some of their palettes. I feel like they've been a little lackluster, and I love the palettes that they had way back in the day. I'm talking about like 2015, 2014 era. I really love their artist palette, and then I love their Shadow Couture palette. Those two were so iconic, but they discontinued it. They only had it for a limited amount of time, and it was so affordable. And I feel like since then, the price of their palettes have increased, but I felt like with the shade selections, I wasn't really feeling it. Now, I also noticed that some of the newer formula, they age a little different than their older formula, and I think that's because of the way it's pressed. So if we're talking about now the Modern Renaissance palette, this palette to me now feels super dry and super chalky, and it doesn't really blend as much as it used to when it was brand new. Now the Jackie palette, I feel like there's so many different textures in that palette where I could kind of look past it if it does age a little bit. I haven't had it a long time, so we'll see about that. But with the Modern Renaissance, I just noticed that it just started to dry out, and it's just not the formula that I associate Anastasia to be. Colourpop So Jaded. I have used and abused this. Now, I don't know if I have a ton ton of tutorials on my channel using this palette, but I use this a lot off camera, and especially when I'm like going to school or if I'm on Instagram Live and I just don't know what look I want to do. Whenever I'm just confused, I go towards this palette because I love the amount of textures in here. You get glitter, shimmer, you get the super shock, you get the mattes, and then you just get a whole bunch of color variety. And I love the fact that compared to the Ace BEAUTE palette, although there's a nice selection, it doesn't seem random. Like, I feel like this whole bottom row here, it just seems like it works together. Like, they're cool tones, some of them are really bright. You just get a nice selection, and I love anything Kathleen puts out with Colourpop. I feel like she just never goes wrong with anything. I just think everything works beautifully. Miss Kristen Dominique. Now, when she launched her brand initially, I thought to myself, oh, this is just another influencer brand, nothing special. And then I got her palette in a BoxyCharm, and I quickly took that opinion away. I quickly just snatched it out because I was like, oh my god, her formula is insane. So I actually have the Celestial Thunder. This is just a smaller version of her Celestial Storm. Now, I think this is just lacking 4 different shades from the bigger palette, but essentially you do get the majority of it in this palette. Now, I do have several tutorials using this, and my god, do the mattes blend like crazy. They have insane amount of pigment. The shimmers are a shimmer formula that I have never felt before. When you touch it, it feels almost hard in the pan, but then on the eyes, it looks wet. It's crazy, and it stays there. It doesn't fall off or anything. So this palette to me is so nice, so beautiful. I love the fact that if I need like a pop of color, like a blue or a pink, this is the palette that I'm gonna reach for, and it doesn't stain the skin, which is what I like. I actually have 2 of these. This is the Dose of Colors Desi and Katie Friendcation palette. Now I have one for my personal use, and I also have one for my client kit. If I bought 2 palettes, I think that's a clear signal for you to go out and get this. This palette to me is so buttery, blendable. Every single time I use it, I am never disappointed. I feel like I am always so satisfied with my eye looks, and I've used this countless amount of times on myself. I've used this countless amount of times on brides, prom makeup looks, literally any occasion, you will get it out of this palette. And I love the shimmer formula in here because it feels very buttery. It's almost like a Super Shock shadow, but it's just a little bit more enhanced. It's just like ultra metallic, ultra, I don't want to say glittery because it's not glitter at all, but it's just ultra pigmented and shiny, and it just goes on effortlessly. I've never had a bad makeup day with this palette before, and I just want to say I hope that this stays in the Dose of Colors collection because this is an amazing palette. Last year for my birthday, my friend Jessie gifted me the Jeffree Star Androgyny palette. Now, this was actually a palette that I've been eyeing for a while, and she just ended up biting the bullet and getting it for me. Now, this palette has been used quite a bit, but recently I haven't really been digging towards it because I feel like with this, it's just very grunge. And I feel like sometimes I'm not inspired by neutral cool colors, so this is a very, you know, particular palette depending on my feeling. I do, however, love the orange in here. This orange I think is like the best orange, like the best orange soda-y color I've ever used. The blues are amazing, and I just like the fact that the pan size are huge too, so that's another huge plus. I think for me personally, I think if we're just looking at the brand and not Jeffree, I definitely want his Jawbreaker palette. I think that looks absolutely stunning. I have not seen a palette with those kind of colors all together, and I just feel like I'd get so much use out of it. I love that color scheme so much. But for now, I am not really in the market for any new palettes. I think I need to use up some of my palettes, or maybe, I don't want to say declutter because I do use everything, but kind of just wait on it maybe until it goes on sale. Last month, I uploaded another 5-day makeup palette series. So if you guys are new to my channel, every so often I will do a 5-day makeup series where I take 5 palettes from one particular brand and I do a look with each of their palettes for every single day of the week. Now, last month I focused a lot on Kaleidos makeup, and I have all of their palettes. Now, I don't want to talk too much about these because I already talked a little bit about them in the series, but I feel like if you're gonna get any palette from this brand, it has to be the Electro Turquoise. This is a beautiful, beautiful palette. I feel like this one here, although it looks really bright, it just blends in with each other so beautifully. If you love blue, this is the perfect palette for you. I also really love their Cyber Bronze. If you're looking for a great everyday palette that's easy to use, this is gonna be one that I'm gonna highly recommend to you guys. Now, they also have other palettes in their collection, like the Astro Pink. I found that this one wasn't my absolute favorite as far as color scheme is concerned, but it does blend in very well. I think Kaleidos has a nice reputation of being very consistent with their formulas, whether it's their highlighters, their liquid lipsticks, with their lip glosses. I think everything just follows suit with each other. The Sci-Fi Green palette is another one that I highly recommend. However, sometimes I do feel like if you're not careful, sometimes the mattes in this palette will kind of get a little chalky. So what I recommend is just getting a little bit of a thicker eye base as opposed to a thin one, just so that everything is just nice and soft and smooth, and it'll just create a nice base for the colors to lay on top of. Finally, they have their UV Neon palette, which isn't my favorite, and I kind of talked a little bit about it in that video. I felt like these colors were so bright that they were a little bit patchy. So this is going to be my only exception for a palette that I'm not really going to recommend, but I'm still going to keep because who knows if I'll need one of these shades for a future look. Now this is going to be a little bit of a sneak peek to Monday's video. Now on Monday, I'm going to be doing another full face one palette video, and if you guys are not familiar with that, it's where I take a random palette and I'll try and complete a full face of makeup excluding liquids, and I'm going to be featuring the Laura Lee Los Angeles Nudie Patootie palette. So this is actually going to be the only Laura Lee palette that I have in my collection, but as you see here, it's a pretty long palette. She has a lot offering here, and I feel like with this palette, yes, you get a lot of neutrals, but I feel like at the same time, this is a very like bride friendly and a very bride safe palette. I feel like these aren't too dark, they're not too warm, and they're not too cool, but it's just neutral enough to where if you need, you know, that blush pink, you have it. If you need that cool tone contour shade, you have it. If you need some awesome shimmers and metallics, then you have it all here. So this is a very nice palette, and I feel like it was very smart of her to just release something all nude, and that offers a little bit of variety. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about women empowerment. I love Real Her, and I feel like through my videos you guys see that because there are certain products that I will not give up. There are products that I will never leave the house with and that I'll never travel without. One being their lip liners. Oh, that is amazing. That is a godsend on its own. But let's go ahead and talk a little bit about some of their makeup palettes. Now, I have tried some of their makeup palettes, but I think the best palette in their collection has got to be the Conquer From Within palette. So this is going to be a purple tone palette, so if you love purple tones, then this is definitely the one to go for. I feel like with their palettes in particular, it's more of like a beginner-friendly approach to palettes. It's nothing super pigmented, super harsh. They're all easy to blend and all easy to build up. Now, I feel like with these palettes, you know, you do get a variety of the mattes and shimmers, but I feel like if you're so used to like, you know, ultra pigment, ultra dark palettes, and I don't really know if this is the route that I would recommend you to. I mean, there are so many different palettes that'll just give you that punch of color. This will still give you a beautiful eye look, a very effortless eye look, but it's not gonna be something, you know, super crazy. 20% of Real Her's proceeds go towards women's health, research, leadership advocacy, and so much more. And then on top of that, if you guys do want to save a little bit extra on your Real Her purchase, I do have a code. It's Thats.so.yin at checkout. But I just love this brand, and I feel like it's one of those brands that I just will continue to support because of their beliefs and values, and it just goes in line with what I believe in. We're gonna go ahead and hop into some drugstore palettes. Now, I feel like nowadays, Drugstore palettes increased in price, which is very sus to me because growing up, I'm so used to seeing like $5 palettes, $3 palettes. I mean, granted, e.l.f. came out with those palettes that are $3, which I think is great. I haven't tried those yet, but I want to go ahead and talk about some Revolution palettes. Now I have two to offer. These are going to be their bigger palettes, and I believe these both are $25. Now, first I want to talk about the Alexis Stone collaboration, and I kid you not, this is a palette that I am so inspired by, but I never want to touch. It's one of those situations, but I'm so inspired to do like a 7-day series where I do each column in this palette and I just try and create a look based off of it. I love the fact that he played off hues and he played off mattes. I think that was a very smart idea because I feel like nowadays we see so many shimmers and palettes that we barely get use out of, but with mattes, I feel like you just get so much more variety. You can put them all over your face if you want to. I mean, you can with shimmer, but I think it was just very smart to go all matte. Now the next one here is by Patricia Bright. This is her Rich in Color palette. This is in a tin palette, and in part one I mentioned that the Revolution tin palettes I felt like weren't good quality, but this is my only exception. I think Patricia really outdid herself with this. The formula is buttery smooth, they build up beautifully, and I love the color variety in here. It's just a good mix of pops of color, different finishes, neutrals. It just really is an all-in-one palette for me, and I just love the fact that it comes in a big mirror. It's decently sized, it's not too thick, and you know, for the most part this feels very luxury. Sigma Beauty. I have loved and used Sigma Beauty for so long, and I feel like I've raved about it enough, and I feel like every single time I talk about Sigma, I always mention the Volume 2 palette. Now this is their Warm Neutrals Volume 2. Volume 1 was not my favorite. I remember there was a time on YouTube where everyone had it, and then when I decided to get it, it was just so lackluster. There was nothing warm about it. It was just so cool, so neutral, so taupey. And they launched this one. So I just decided to give it another shot, and my oh my, is this palette like the best thing ever. I travel with this a lot, so if I'm not traveling with my Prism palettes, I'm traveling with this because the After Hours shade is perfect for my brows. I love the fact that I could create a warm smoky eye with this. You get a lot of nice shimmers. You can use this as a blush, you could use this as a light bronzer if you'd like, and under eye setting powder. Like, this is one of those palettes that if I forget something, I know I'm gonna be okay because this palette has it all for me. Also, if you guys want to save a little bit of money on Sigma, don't forget to use the code Thats.so.yin at checkout just to save you guys a little extra cash. I was so happy when I got this palette in BoxyCharm. You have no idea how freaking stoked I was. I only used it once though, but that's okay. And it's the Storybook Cosmetics Fairy Tale Robin Hood book. Now this is a very thick book, but I feel like with these shades in here, I feel like you can only really get like 2 looks out of here because you get yellows, you get the browns, and then you get the greens. And I feel like you just need a little bit more in this palette just to give me a little bit extra. But I mean, all in all, like if you use this coinciding with a different palette, then I think it works out beautifully. I think the formula is great. It's not the best, but I feel like, you know, for the most part, I think this is a good taste to Storybook Cosmetics because I have been eyeing their brand for quite a while. They also don't really go on sale, so I feel like that's just another downfall for me. But you know what? This is great to try. I'm very thankful that I got it in a BoxyCharm, and I'm just really excited to pump out some more looks with it. I've never been one to really use Tarte eyeshadow palettes, but I do have one that's an exception, and it's one that I feel like no one talks about. This is a palette that's very overlooked. I don't think anyone uses it anymore. I don't think that anyone even remembers her, but it's the Clay Play palette. Now I got this as my free gift when I signed up to BoxyCharm. I talk a lot about BoxyCharm, but it's true. Like I feel like they offered me like a substantial amount of makeup, and they're good too. So I got this as my free gift, and this is what the palette looks like. You get nice little quads within the palette. They're subcategorized into 3s. Now, I love the fact that you get like a warm, a cool, and then you get one that's like a deep, dark, vampy situation. And I love the fact that this is an all matte palette. So if I'm traveling and I just need, you know, that one matte palette that'll just do it all for me, and then just pack one highlight and one blush, then this is gonna be the palette that I'm gonna travel with, because it gives you a good mirror, they give you really good pan sizes, and I feel like there's just so much variety that you could do with just plain, matte, nice, neutral colors. Miss Tati Westbrook, Miss Glam Life Guru, Miss Queen of YouTube. I just feel like she killed it with her Textured Neutrals palette. This to me is just one of those palettes where I'm just like, damn, you really did that. I feel like if I were to look at all of these palettes, it's very on par with how I feel about the Dose palette. It's just one of those palettes where I'm just like, yes, yes, yes. Like once she goes back to selling her items again after this quarantine, get it. This is one of those things where I need you to get it. I love the fact that her glitter formula isn't too glittery, and I only mean that because sometimes when you dunk your finger into a pressed glitter shadow, sometimes it gives you too much pigment, and with this you can get a light dusting of glitter. You get metallics, you get sequins, you get mattes. Like what more could you want in a palette? Like this palette is so beautiful. Thank you, Sydney, for giving it to me. I am like so head over heels in love with this palette, and I know when it launched everyone was like, oh my god, another neutral palette, meh meh meh, and then when you try it, it's actually so good. It's so, oh my god, it makes me excited about makeup again. It makes me excited about palettes, and for a while there I was not excited about palettes. I thought palettes were just like repeats of itself over and over and over and over again, and then Tati came out with this, ma'am, like finally, let's go ahead and talk about Touch in Sol. Now, this is their Fill Up Orange palette, and this is a palette that I want to say out of my entire collection here, this has got to be, I think, my least favorite, simply because I don't see myself getting a lot of use out of it, and I feel like it's because the pan sizes in some of these eyeshadows are just so small. And granted, you know, we don't use all of our eyeshadows, but you know what? It would be nice if some of these were just a little bit bigger, you know what I mean? In this palette, you only get 3 mattes, and I feel like for me that's a little bit of an issue because I don't really go for all shimmer looks. I am more so just like one shimmer on the eyelid, everything else matte, and I feel like with this, you don't really get that much diversity in the shades. So what I mean is you're not getting light, medium, and dark. You're not getting like a full spectrum. You get that one dark shade here, you get a whole bunch of medium tone shades, and then you just get like a matte white, which isn't even a white, it's like a cream shade, and then you get a glitter. So with this, I feel like you can only really get a monotone look, and for that reason, it's not my favorite, but I do want to utilize it, and I do want to see how many looks I can create because I only used it once. And just like that, you guys, we are completed with my entire makeup palette collection. I'm super excited that we're done with this, and I also want to note that through this video, especially part 2, I noticed that I had a lot of palettes that I didn't really use, but I liked looking at, and I think for me, I want to change that a little bit. So hopefully in future tutorials, you guys will see me use some of these palettes. If you guys really want to see me use more palettes in my videos, then please let me know. So I hope you guys all enjoy this video. I hope you guys enjoy my sticker collab. I'm really excited about it. Thank you guys so much for all of the love and support. I'm super excited about it, and I'm just so excited to finally just like decorate my entire room just full of my own stickers. So as always, I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye! Peace out, Girl Scouts.